Welcome, everybody. For those of you who I have not had the pleasure of meeting in person, my name is Greg Dennett, and I'm the President and CEO of the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and would like to welcome you to our third installment of our Small Business Week webinar series, brought to you by the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce in partnership with economic development. This is all part of our small business programming, and as we all know, small businesses are the backbone of our community, and they play such a outsized impact on the viability and sustainability of our community as a whole. Small Business Week is incredibly important to us here at the Chamber. Without further ado, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Darcy Almus and Rita Nalbandian from the Printing House, and they're going to give us a webinar on cutting-edge graphic communication solutions that capture attention and drive engagement. And as someone who's in the communication business, we are incredibly excited to sit back and learn. If you have a question during the presentation, please put it into the Q&A, and I will do my very best to interrupt Darcy politely and without totally wrecking the flow of the presentation as possible, as soon as possible. So put the questions in and we'll try and get them answered. And if not, we'll do a full Q&A at the end. And with that, I will hand it over to Darcy and Rita. Welcome and thank you.
TPH's purpose is to exceed expectations, enabling people to do great work. We believe in human connection makes a difference. We believe in print and all its possibilities. We believe in sustainable practices. We believe in helping others, helping themselves. We believe in a can-do mindset, and unreasonable service turns a transaction into a raving fan's experience. So at TPH, we strive to really push the envelope of what is possible and what we can do beyond your simple day-to-day printing, whether it's letterhead or anything else, whether it's like business cards or dreamers are everywhere. They think and wonder about what could be. But what if they don't make anything and they're just dreamers? Fantasy artists, the world is awash with unrealized art ideas. Thoughts, not things. This is why TPH exists. To take your idea and to work it, to swarm it, to prototype it, to scale it. We take your thoughts and turn them into a thing. Turn the dreamer into a doer. It is our past and it is our future. We exist so we can design, create, make, and wow. We're here to help businesses thrive and make our communities stronger. Here at TPH Hamilton, we are a team of designers and graphic artists. Some of us are new. Some of us have been with the company for almost 45 years. And as Greg mentioned, we've been here quite a few times. This branch in particular has been here over 50 years. Myself, I've been here the past 2 years, previously managing in Burlington and then working in downtown Toronto for over 10 years. Coming back to Hamilton for work, I noticed a few changes in the area. Quite a few of the traditional large market businesses have scaled back or have completely left. But in that vacuum has grown a real strong field of entrepreneurs new to the community, in a lot of cases transplanted from Toronto or wherever, especially during COVID. We can advise, design, create, and make wow happen. For all companies, be it a bank or a landscaper, how you stand out from a crowd is paramount. The tangible impact of printed materials in providing a physical touch point cannot be replicated easily with digital media. With an overwhelming amount of digital content, print can stand out. A well-designed print piece can stick in a customer's mind longer, increasing brand recall. Print has gone beyond traditional standbys like letterhead and has evolved into everything from packaging to apparel to signage and to influencer kits.
Delivering our customers' brand. From product production, packaging, product photo shoot, social media management, web design, and e-commerce store. At the Printing House, we can do it all. Design, create, make, and wow.
So this is an example of work we've done for a client. The client came to us from the start of their journey. They were looking to start an apparel company located out of Barrie. We worked with them on production and packaging. With their vision of their brand, we helped them focus on unique packaging and enhancing their overall client experience. We started out with like a simple hoodie, and then grew an apparel line for them that included t-shirts, toques, socks. And as well, we also created their e-com site, and we made an entire mobile sales floor for them. So if they were going to festivals and trade shows, they could bring small amount of inventory and have a complete kit. Because generally they didn't have a storefront. They were working out of, I believe, their house or their garage or whatnot. So they just would sell as they needed and go on the road. They were also able to use all the kit that we created for them for their socials and really push their brand awareness online, as well as doing mail outs and doing experience pieces for influencers. Another client we worked on was Tip Tap Pay. They came to us, I want to say late January 2020, and all they had was an idea of a product, and they had some technology. But over the course of COVID, with us being closed and working remotely and everyone had scattered, we had more time, and we worked with them on creating prototypes and signage to encapsulate their little tap pieces. It was an interesting experience working with them. We consulted with them along the whole ways. We started off with just an e-com idea and then built the brand out that way. Meeting in parking lots was an interesting experience. But we made it work, and we've grown over the past 4 years that relationship to they're now a nationally recognized company. Everywhere you see their materials, like from Tim Hortons to Canadian Tires to Salvation Army kiosks and malls across Canada. So that was an example of us working right from the get-go with a client and them coming up with an idea and the technology, but us working with them to facilitate how to grow their printed aspects of their business, as far as design, layout, materials, working on different elements, taking into account, in their case specifically, indoor use, outdoor use, mobility issues, especially for Salvation Army. They had to be able to pack it up and take it with them to wherever they had to go quickly at the end of a shift. So yeah, we've really pushed what we've worked with clients on in a consultative way and in an innovative fashion. Some of the marketing essentials, the basics, especially if you're a smaller business, you don't necessarily have to have large extravagant things, but high quality print materials can enhance your brand's credibility. People often perceive printed materials as more trustworthy and professional. Something as practical as a label can really go a long way in establishing one's identity. We have a few examples showcasing different techniques, such as some foil labels there, UV coated, color matching with brand identity. Consistent and high quality prints help maintain your brand's visual identity across all materials. Consistency reinforces brand recognition and trust. While high quality prints may have higher upfront costs, the durability and effectiveness can lead to a better return on investment over time. One of the things we're starting to notice is, especially coming out of COVID, like I had mentioned, the traditional large businesses that we had worked with over the years were scaled back. We were doing a lot more work with small entrepreneurs, people, especially in this area, that had worked in Toronto, moved to Hamilton, were in marketing departments or working in HR, or wherever they worked in their offices. During COVID, they started side hustles. They started, since they were working from home, doing candles or doing baking kits, etc. And we've really grown. We've noticed a real growth in event planning. A lot of people now, wedding planners, pushing that sphere. And one of the things we've really noticed is a huge change from what was traditionally just stationary for wedding planners, where they would just print invitations or whatever. Now they're doing crazy amounts of custom pieces to completely deck out a wedding space, or even event spaces. A lot of wedding planners are now doing birthday parties, baptisms, bachelorette parties, 40th anniversaries, and etc. So we've noticed that whole market shifting, and people who may have traditionally done this like 30, 40 years ago, which had small little niche businesses, they're now growing. And a lot of these entrepreneurs have just started in the last couple of years and really grown their market based on their brand identity, which is if it's someone aimed solely at young people, when they have that market of TikTok followers and Gen Z and millennials, or people that do traditional letterpress, handwritten calligraphy type work, the identity that comes with that has really grown in the past 2 years. We also do some large events. We do a lot of trade. We've seen that has really grown, especially in the Hamilton area and Oakville, with Carmen's group taking over some of the venues downtown. The expectations and the growth of that has definitely been enhanced recently. So again, we were the sponsor for the Juno Awards, and how that came about was we worked with the various marketing agencies who have a brand in mind, in this case, the Junos, and they come to us with that idea of how do we keep everything across this performance, this space, this event in sync. So what we managed to do was print everything from brochures, menus, indoor signage, etc., keeping that consistency, the logo, the brand colors, the idea of the Junos, the theme for that specific event, and really push that along. Immersive experiences. One of the main things in marketing we've noticed lately is several advantages with these pop-up type of things is enhancing customer engagement and brand loyalty. They can capture attention and keep audiences engaged longer than traditional marketing methods. They can create memorable interactions that resonate with consumers by creating a multi-sensory experience. Brands can forge deeper emotional connections with their audience. This emotional bond can lead to increased brand loyalty and advocacy. These experiences are often shareable, encouraging participants to talk about and share their experiences on social media, amplifying your reach and visibility. So there's a few examples there. One of them was some stuff we did for Porter, the Canadian Tire events. One of them is actually a sponsorship we did for Hamilton Winterfest. And with that, we met with the founders and the presenters of Hamilton Winterfest, and started with them at the beginning and spoke to them about what they need the event to be and how could we partner with them to grow it. It wasn't really ever a consultative approach of we need 50 posters and we need 1,000 A-frames or anything like that. It was more of how do we collaborate and work together to grow Hamilton Winterfest from what it had been in the past, especially coming out of COVID. Their expectations were significant growth, and significant visibility. So we worked with them on signage, on, in this case, we created a coloring book. We worked with them on all their interactive pieces, indoor, outdoor materials to really push the experience of not just the art at Winterfest, but give it a more professional look and really enhance their brand as far as who they were and who they are in their community and their importance to the community.
Darcy,
Yes.
we've got a question, but I'm going to editorialize it a bit because I think you touched on a few things that I find really important, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this. And you just kind of mentioned a few of them. So I think I like to refer to it as we've come out of COVID. That we're in the battle with the sweatpants now, right? Like I'm working from home and I got to get out. And so that community and connectivity, can you take us through maybe how you guys take that brand idea and take the immersive experience and bring it together to create that lasting impact? Because I think, you know, as a person who came up in events, when it's done right, it's so the entire flow of the event and the experience is amazing. And when it's not done right, we all know it very quickly. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you create that immersive experience to create that connectivity through brand.
So what we generally do is the people that just throw something up and it happens at the spur of the moment. And as a client, when you go in, you feel that as any end user. But when we're given the opportunity to have consult with the event planners, what we'll do is we'll walk through the whole event. We'll go in, we'll see what the site looks like, we'll see what opportunities are there, and then we'll start having a conversation of what are you looking to get out of this? What type of people are you trying to reach? What type of impact are you looking to get? And then from there, we'll start having the conversations on, is it just simple, quick affair, or are you looking for something grand? Now, it could be anything from interactive features. Like there's some pictures of it's from like a deck party. So that allow people to interact and play like almost like mini games. So if you're looking for that, we can help build those. But what we've noticed a lot is people want to have a moment, whether it's a social moment, like something else, like a quick TikTok video or a Instagram photo. We'll create pieces if need be of, for example, there's an event there for Tiffany & Co. where we built packaging to give a winter feel. We built like a little snow globe and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go through and work with the brand to make sure that when you come away from the Canadian Tire event, you feel that you've experienced that let's make play happen type feel that the one event was for Canadian Tire. Whereas Winterfest, it was about having a community engagement. So we worked with the team behind that, and we really embraced the kitsch vibe they were going for last year. It was all about retro, so we made sure we had bright colors. We used the proper palettes to match some of the art pieces that they gave us some snippets of. We really worked towards having, in this case, we did some wayfaring signage throughout the mall that tied in artistically with what they were going for, which at the time was like an 80s retro type vibe. So we'll work with, we like to have fun with it and we like to create with it. So we'll work with the clients on not just their their brand and the color scheme, but what the overarching view is of it. So in this case, Winterfest, it was an immersive experience. So we wanted to bring people in with the color palettes, with signage, with in this case, we created a coloring book that spoke to the art pieces. So yeah, it's kind of each experience is unique. Every single one of those in that deck there is different locations created them with different creative teams, but using all of TPH's backgrounds in not just print, but fabrication as well.
I couldn't have, that was a great answer. I know, as someone who's run some of the largest events in this country and opened some of the best venues, I would say one of the things that I learned in that experience is how important the brand is, as you walk through Tim Hortons Field or Rogers Place in Edmonton, it's the storytelling. And I think it's the storytelling arc of events is incredibly important. So I appreciate you giving that kind of additional feedback, because I think that's a really important part of the process. So I will hang up and continue listening now.
No, that's not a problem. It's basically the last slide anyway. And just to wrap up, we are a uniquely Canadian company since 1961. But our presence in Hamilton's been here for over 50 years. We have worked with a lot of consumers, but primarily small and medium-sized businesses. So we really want to push what's possible for our clients. And one of the things, like at least for me, has been over the years watching someone start really small and have like them and their husband or them and their wives or whomever, small little business, doing on the weekend, and it grows into something fantastic, and being there to help them facilitate that, whether it's suggesting a color scheme that works better across multiple platforms, whether it's an online web portal or a printed media or posters, or even articles that we don't even touch. Like we've done work for clients that do outdoor signage, like billboards and whatnot, and making sure their colors match all the way through that. And the images they use are to their points. And it's about growing. So our company is deeply ingrained in entrepreneurship in Canadiana, essentially. So it really puts a smile on our face to see companies grow from nothing to a nationally recognized brand, and having just like a little bit of that helping them along the way is what we strive for.
So on that note, how do you balance out, and just a friendly reminder, if anybody does have any other questions, and there's one or two in here, but if anybody has any other ones, please throw them in the Q&A. How do you help support a small business who's just starting out with a more limited budget? Then I could point to my experience at the Grey Cup, where we had I think it was about a $250,000 scrim budget, where we're scrimming everything to make sure every single aspect of the championship game is branded appropriately. Though potentially without the proper English and French messaging. That was a small issue in 2021 when the Alouettes made the game.
I think for us, it comes down to having a realistic conversation. What we'll try and do is, if a customer is coming to us, for example, if they're starting a candle company and they're doing it out of their house, they want to have branding on their jars, and they're doing everything at their house. They're making the wax, they're making the wicks, they're jarring it themselves, but they don't have the budget for some crazy production line, so they're doing everything themselves, which I appreciate and understand. That's how everyone starts. So from my staff, and what we'll do here is we'll sit down with them and have that conversation. Like, you might want to have the look of something you'd see at Yankee Candle, but realistically, what are you looking to achieve in a small run, just to see how you're going to fare in the marketplace before you invest crazy marketing budget on just candles. So we'll start small with that. For example, we would recommend maybe just spending a little bit of extra money on the label itself that goes on the packaging. And then if you're getting traction, then maybe you can start thinking about doing a direct mailer or an influencer kit, etc. But start small with what you are and what you're comfortable with, and we'll work with you on how to scale those products up.
So perfect. So kind of the idea of you don't have to start huge. It's about setting within a framework of your business and then growing accordingly. So that, and again, I think that's on my end, it would be, we had a very different marketing budget with Forge FC to the Tiger Cast just because of the size and scope of the organization, but you still were able to make strong brand connections. How, in terms of design and branding for small businesses, especially if they don't have in-house creative resources, again, some businesses get to that size where some have to, what are the supports offered, and maybe from a little bit of a further lens, how does the printing house separate themselves from the larger competitors or online services? Like you've kind of touched on it, but continued through it. So
Yeah, so what we'll do is, again, it comes back to the consultative approach. We'll try and have a realistic conversation where we'll look at what you're looking to get the end result to be. So us, as opposed to some of our larger competitors like a Staples or a Vistaprint or whatever, we don't necessarily have minimums. We don't necessarily have pre-done setup templates where you have to order this exact material and it has to be this exact quantity and you'll get it in 5 to 7 business days or whatever. Everything we do is custom. Everything we do is tailored towards the individual. Each order is unique. So we are more than willing to sit down and walk through what you have the ability to do. A lot of people will, for example, they'll provide us with just a Canva link. Like, I kind of laid this out. These are my business cards. What can you do with them? And from that, like, as long as they have like some sort of semblance of an idea, we can then not necessarily do like hours of the design work, but because you already have like a rough idea, so then we can scale back the cost of designing, for example, and then we can just focus on, okay, now that you've done some of the legwork for us, we can then put those resources into maybe a higher end material, whatever we can do to kind of flush out, keeping the cost low, and still striving to have some sort of good looking product that'll give you the end result you're looking for. So again, we can work with pretty much most online software if you're using that, just to cut costs down. A lot of people will come to us with, I've had people come in with just drawings and we'll work with them on that, try and figure something out. Again, with us having no minimums, you don't necessarily have to order, 10,000 business cards at a time or 50,000 labels or whatever. You can just order 50 or 100 to keep your costs down, especially if you're inventorying your product in your house, in your garage, or wherever. You might not want to have cases of labels or cases of various products. Also, too, we'll try and come up with solutions to problems. Did everyone see something on Pinterest or TikTok that they want to emulate, we'll try and, but if you have a budget, we'll try and work within that to find the next best thing within within those realms. You had mentioned Scrim, but, maybe we can do it on a Poly to save you X amount of money. Yeah, so it's a very, very consultative process, as long as you're aware of your own limitations or what you want to achieve, then we can work within it.
I love it. Okay. I'm gonna combine the question we have here with just continuing that conversation, because I'm gonna hope that I can do it. What is the what do you do, whether it's an event or if you've printed something significant and then there's an error on it, or like, I can go back to our Scrim example at the Grey Cup. A massive windstorm came through on the Saturday night and every single piece of Scrim got ripped off, and we had to reapply and or re-piece together stuff. So it's like, it was a late night for a bunch of people. But how do you guys support, or what are your recommendations to support when you get to the big event? You're like, oh my gosh, we spelled the keynote speaker's name wrong on every piece of knock on wood, that hasn't happened yet for us. But how do you work through that, and what are some fixes for people? I think I've asked the question while also kind of keeping it in the flow of the conversation here.
I can give you an anecdote about that. One of my colleagues was doing a rollout for a national company. It was for a new credit card they were releasing. And I guess there was some sort of typo in the terms and conditions, or some sort of misprint, where we had gone to print with what we thought was the final copy, but it turns out it was 5 versions ago or whatever. And it was, I think, 165 retractable banners, which they're around $300 each. So yeah, it was quite expensive of an error, and they needed it fixed ASAP. So I think 3 locations ended up reprinting them overnight, and worked through the weekend to get them all rekitted so that they could get them back out and delivered within, I think we got the whole thing redone within 2 days. So that was an experience. Personally, I've done a lot of hoardings for various malls and commercial retailer experiences, where again, the type set doesn't match what's supposed to be there, whether there's a miscommunication between marketing and sales internally on those customers. So what we end up having to do, we've had to reprint. Like I've been here till 18-hour, 19-hour days, sometimes reprinting these things just to get them back on track and outdoor and reinstalled before the event happens. So it is a good chunk of our business, actually. Like, it happens more frequently than we would care to admit, but I mean, that's the nature of having everything have to be proofed by 15 different departments. Somewhere along the line something gets missed, or to your earlier reference, bilingualism gets dropped. These things happen. So yeah, we scramble feverishly to try and get things reprinted, redone. We'll share work across multiple locations to make sure that happens.
But Darcy and Rita, thank you for your time today. I know this is a really, really important aspect of any business is the brand and the storytelling. And I think as we have more and more things coming at us, it's the brands that are able to connect and communicate and to grab hold of us that is so important. So the ability, and that can be whether you're a one-person business or the largest business in a community. It's about making that connection, and having that total understanding of, okay, like that resonated. So I think what you took us through today was incredibly important. And then I love the conversations about how it is about, at an event, it's about tying everything together, because In my old customer service training, we used to say there were two ways to give 100%. You could do everything 100 things 1% better, or you could have that aha moment, that 100% automatic wow, and that's when the person walks through and they meet Wayne Gretzky at the alumni event, or Simonia Lawrence pops by their seats, and those are the incredibly cool things. So I think you did a great job of articulating that, and how by utilizing the storytelling and your guys' collaborative nature is so important. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate your partnership here at the Chamber, and it doesn't look like we had any straggler questions. So I'll let you close off, but otherwise, wishing everybody a great Wednesday of Small Business Week.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I'm glad we could be of assistance. Sorry about the technical glitches there earlier on. I'm not sure what happened, but shutting everything off and starting all over again seemed to work.
It is completely my fault.
No, I mean, it's great. Like, we love being involved in the Hamilton community, and we're looking forward to seeing it grow again and take flight in the next few months and years.
Absolutely. I'm here for that. So, well, everyone, thank you so much for your time. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow for episode 4 of Small Business Week, brought to you by the Chamber and ECDEV, and thanks to our partners at the Printing House. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.